need to speak with management now.
Okay, what's this about?
We're investigating suspicious financial activity here.
I just worked the register, sir.
You'll pull transaction records and employee files.
I don't think I'm allowed to do that.
This isn't a request. Do it, now.
Federal agents detain black cashier AT grocery store. SA Cheese from Minnesota. WANS $8.4 M lawsuit. Agent Torres had no idea what he just walked into. In the next 45 minutes, he would commit an illegal detention. He would violate someone's civil rights, and he would start a federal lawsuit that would cost the agency everything. The young cashier he was talking down to was not just another retail worker. She was a Minnesota certified financial compliance officer. She knew federal law better than most lawyers. She had already started documenting every single violation he was making. Cashier Williams had spent 3 years working retail while building her compliance certification. She had a 4.0 GPA. She volunteered with civil rights organizations. She knew her constitutional rights cold. She understood the Fourth Amendment. She knew Torres had zero legal authority to demand those files without a warrant, and the store's security cameras were capturing everything. Before I continue, let me ask you, have you ever been treated unfairly by someone in power? Drop your answer in the comments. Torres had no idea who he was dealing with. Cashier Williams grew up in a family that fought for justice. Her father worked for the Postal Service for 32 years. He taught her that rules existed to protect people, not to hurt them. Cashier started working at Save Mart Grocery 3 years ago. On the surface, she was just a cashier scanning items, but she was doing much more. While working full-time, she completed her Minnesota Financial Compliance certification. She studied federal regulations on her breaks. She volunteered as a paralegal assistant. She mentored young people on their constitutional rights. Her co-workers had no idea. Her manager knew she was smart, but he did not know the full extent of her expertise. On March 15, 2023, Cashier was just trying to process the morning shift inventory. She had no idea federal agents were about to test everything she had learned. Now here's what happened next. Special Agent Marcus Torres had a reputation in the Minneapolis field office, not a good one. Torres was 51 years old. He had worked for the FBI for 18 years. He was assigned to the Suspicious Activity Report Division. His job was to investigate possible money laundering, but Torres had a pattern. In 5 years, he had 3 documented complaints of civil rights violations. 3. Every single complaint involved minority-owned businesses or minority-staffed locations. Everyone was questioned afterward by Internal Affairs. In 2019, Torres walked into a Vietnamese nail salon in St. Paul, no warrant, no legal justification. He demanded financial records from the owner. The owner filed a complaint with the Department of Justice. The case was closed with an informal warning. In 2021, Torres detained the owner of a black-owned barbershop. He kept him there for 2 hours. Again, zero legal authority. Again, a DOJ review was started. They called it a misunderstanding. Torres kept his job. The Save Mart team had a nickname for him. They called him the Warrant Guy, because he never had one, but always acted like he did. Let me know what you think about this pattern in the comments. It was Thursday, March 15, 2023, 8:47 in the morning. Save Mart Grocery sat at 4221 Nicollet Avenue in South Minneapolis. It was mid-morning routine time. 5 customers were scattered throughout the store. The fluorescent lights were humming. Soft background music played near the registers. Stock clerks were restocking shelves. The store served the Black and East African neighborhoods. It had a reputation for fair hiring, but treating employees with respect. Cashier was at the front register. Marcus, the assistant manager, was in the back office. 3 part-time staff members were working. About 8 customers were shopping. Everything was normal. Then the door opened. 2 federal agents entered. Agent Torres and his partner, Agent Chen. No announcement, no greeting. They walked straight toward the register where Cashier was working. Torres approached her directly. His badge was visible. His attitude was aggressive. Before I continue, if stories like this matter to you, hit subscribe. We expose these cases because the system needs to change. Torres approached the register. We need to speak with management. Now, he said. Cashier looked up from scanning items. Okay, what's this about? She asked. Torres stepped closer. We're investigating suspicious financial activity at this location. You work the register? Cashier nodded. Yeah, I've been here about 2 years, but I just ring people up. Torres was not interested in small talk. Right, well, we need access to all transaction records and employee files. You're going to pull those for us? Cashier hesitated. I'm not sure I can just hand that over without tar. El King to someone first. Torres stepped even closer. His hand moved toward his badge. Listen, this is not a request. I don't have time for this. Get those files now. Cashier stayed calm. I'm not being difficult. I just need permission from management. Tor's voice got louder. I don't care. Get them now. A customer nearby stopped shopping. Her name was Patricia Green. She was a retired teacher. She watched the interaction carefully. Another customer, David Okafor, started recording on his phone. A staff member named Jasmine came out from her break. She saw what was happening. The tension in the store changed. Everyone felt it. Tors did not back down. He was used to people obeying. This time felt different. And Marcus, the assistant manager, walked out of the back office. He saw Tors standing over Cashier. He saw the badge. He heard the aggressive tone. Marcus stepped in. Do you have a search warrant or a subpoena? He asked Tors. Tors did not expect this question. I don't need one for a routine compliance check, Tors replied. Marcus shook his head. Actually, you do need one, and we've already had Department of Justice complaints about your office. Tors' face shifted. He realized this manager knew something. That was when Marcus turned to Cashier. You know the law better than I do. What do we do? Cashier stood up straighter. She spoke clearly. Her voice was steady. Under the Fourth Amendment and the Bank Secrecy Act, you need either a warrant or a valid subpoena. You have neither. You're also trying to intimidate me to destroy legal protections. I'm recording this conversation now. Tors' expression changed completely. His partner, Agent Chen, whispered to him. Tors realized Cashier was not a regular cashier. She knew her rights. She knew the law. That was when Patricia Green, the retired teacher, spoke up. I'm a former principal. I know my rights. This young lady just explained the law better than most lawyers. You're violating her civil rights. David Okafor held up his phone. I've been recording this whole thing. I've got 3 minutes and 47 seconds of everything you just did. Jasmine added, this isn't the first time you've come here like this. You've documented it. Tors realized he had made a terrible mistake. He had walked into a store with a worker who knew federal law, with witnesses who were paying attention, with cameras recording. What Tors thought would be a quick intimidation had become evidence of a crime. Marcus called corporate security immediately. Corporate legal got involved within minutes. Within 12 minutes, Minneapolis police arrived. Officer Sarah Kim arrived at the scene. She was a 12-year veteran. She knew how to handle this. Officer Kim reviewed all the footage. She interviewed all the witnesses separately. She confirmed that Tors presented no warrant, no subpoena, no probable cause, none. She examined David's phone video. It matched the Save Mart security footage perfectly. 4 different camera angles captured everything. Officer Kim also reviewed prior complaints against Tors. 6 months earlier, he had come to Save Mart. The manager reported that Tors had requested employee files without legal justification. That complaint was documented, but it was never escalated. Now there was a pattern. Tors claimed he was conducting a routine compliance check, but Officer Kim found nothing. No SAR report filed. SAR stands for Suspicious Activity Report. It is what banks file when they think something illegal is happening. Tors never filed one. No OFAC confirmation. That is the Office of Foreign Assets Control. Tors had zero documentation. He just showed up with a badge and demands. Tors claimed he was investigating money laundering, but when questioned, he admitted this was preliminary suspicion based on transaction patterns. There was no actual investigation file. No financial institution had filed any report. Tors' story was falling apart. Officer Kim told Tors to leave. You need to leave this location. You have no legal basis to be here. Continued presence is trespass. Tors tried to argue. Officer Kim made clear additional charges could follow. Tors left. Save Mart management issued a formal trespass notice. Tors was banned from the premises permanently. If stories like this matter to you, please subscribe. We are documenting these violations so they stop happening. David Okafor did not stop recording when Tors left. He uploaded the video to Twitter at 9:15 in the morning. His caption was simple. FBI agent in Minneapolis just tried to bully a young black worker. She shut him down with law. He got nothing. By 9:47 a.m., the video had 12,400 views. The Minneapolis subreddit picked it up. 3,200 upvotes. By 11:22 a.m., it hit mainstream Twitter. The Minnesota NAACP shared it. CAIR Minnesota shared it. Local activist networks shared it. 347,000 views. By 1:15 p.m., Twin Cities news stations called Save Mart for a statement. WCCO, KSTP, they assigned reporters. By 5:30 p.m., the first local news segment aired. The Minneapolis Star-Tribune published a breaking news story. By 11:45 p.m., the video crossed 2.8 million views. It was trending on Twitter nationwide. Reddit's R-Justice had it on the front page. Across all platforms, the reach was massive. 2.8 million Twitter views, 847,000 retweets, 156,000 quote tweets, 289,000 likes. On Reddit, 127,000 upvotes. On TikTok, 4.2 million views. On YouTube, 1.6 million views. Total estimated reach, 12 million impressions. People in every state were seeing this video. People commented, "This is exactly what systemic racism looks like. Glad she knew her rights." Another said, "Federal agents shouldn't have power to abuse people like this. This needs investigation." Another said, "Cashier Williams is a hero. More workers need to understand their Fourth Amendment rights." The story spread fast. NPR covered it. CNN, MSNBC, Fox News. The Washington Post published an investigative piece. USA Today ran an editorial. Type "Justice" if you agree that this story needed to go viral. SaveMart Corporate released a statement. "We support Cashier Williams and all our employees. We're cooperating fully with all investigations. Customer and employee safety is our priority." That statement mattered. It showed the company had her back. On March 22, 2023, Cashier filed a civil rights lawsuit. The case number was 2023-CV-891456, filed in U.S. District Court, District of Minnesota. She claimed violation of Fourth Amendment rights. She claimed intentional infliction of emotional distress. She claimed civil rights violation under federal law. The FBI's Office of Inspector General opened an investigation into TORs. Discovery revealed more than they expected. The complaint file contained 7 previous incidents, not just 3, not just 7. 90% of TOR's quote-unquote suspicious investigations targeted minority-owned businesses. Email discovery showed TOR's supervisor warned him about Fourth Amendment compliance back in 2021. TOR's ignored that warning. The settlement came down to this: $8.4 million. That number breaks down like this: $6.2 million in civil rights damages, $1.8 million in legal fees, $400,000 in punitive damages. Punitive damages are meant to punish bad behavior. TOR's was reassigned. No more field work. He got desk duty only. He was placed on a 3-year probation. He was permanently flagged in his personnel file. This ended his career advancement. He retired 18 months later. The whole thing took less than 2 years to resolve. The amount they paid? Wait until you hear what this meant for workers across the country. Cashier's victory set a precedent. Other workers started standing up. Other victims realized they could fight back. Attorneys cited this case in 3 subsequent federal decisions. On April 12, 2023, Cashier gave a statement. It was at Minneapolis City Hall. Civil rights lawyers stood with her. SaveMart management was there. Local elected officials attended. Cashier spoke from the heart. "I've had nightmares about that morning. I second-guess going to work, but I'm not ashamed. I did nothing wrong. They did." She paused. "My certification taught me the law exists to protect people, but laws only work if people know them and use them. Most workers don't. They're scared to. That's the real problem." Cashier looked at the cameras. "You have rights under the Constitution. Federal agents, police, employers, they don't get to violate them just because they have a badge. Learn your rights, document everything. You deserve respect." Her message was clear. She was not just speaking for herself. She was speaking for every worker, every person treated unfairly. "I want federal training requirements for agents on civil rights. I want SaveMart's policies copied nationwide. I want workers to know you can say no, you can ask for a lawyer, you can record, and there will be consequences for people who abuse their power." Her gratitude was genuine. To the witnesses, Patricia, David, Jasmine, thank you. To my manager, Marcus, to SaveMart Corporate, to my legal team, this isn't my victory, it's ours. Cashier's closing statement was powerful. This system only changes when we hold it accountable. "That morning I did, and now everyone knows that young black woman Cashier isn't someone to bully. She's someone who knows her rights, and she's not alone." This case exposed a massive problem. Federal agents targeting minority businesses, workers. Not knowing constitutional rights, a power imbalance in enforcement. 64% of civil rights complaints against federal agents involve racial targeting. Retail workers experience 1.3 million incidents of verbal abuse annually. Only 8% report to authorities. African American and Latino workers are 2.4 times more likely to experience police involvement during workplace disputes. Less than 12% of workers know they can refuse police search requests without a warrant. Cashier had resources most workers don't: legal training, documentation skills, witnesses who advocated, a platform that amplified her story, but she shouldn't need those advantages just to be treated with basic dignity. So let me ask you, how many Cashiers are out there right now in retail stores across this country who don't know they can say no to authority without a warrant? How many federal agents are walking into minority-owned businesses making demands they have no legal right to make? How many workers accept abuse because they believe the person with the badge has more power than the Constitution? Because if we don't demand accountability from agents who abuse their power, if we don't train workers to know their rights, if we don't build systems that actually penalize bad faith investigation, then we're just waiting for the next agent tours, the next confrontation, the next $8.4 million lawsuit that proves our system is broken. Comment below. Should federal agents face criminal penalties, not just settlement liability, for Fourth Amendment violations? Tell me what you think. If you believe stories like this matter, hit that subscribe button. We're going to keep exposing these patterns. We're going to keep demanding accountability. We're going to keep fighting for workers' constitutional rights, for civil rights enforcement that actually works. This isn't just about one agent or one young woman. It's about all of us and the system we're willing to tolerate. See you in the next one.